Brought to you in part by Monadnock Flooring and Decorating, offering quality sales, service, and installation for over 35 years on Production Avenue next to Subaru of Keene. Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Journey. I'm Luca. We're going to be making sandwiches today. Not just any sandwiches, but some that I really, really love. So first off, I'm going to do sausage and peppers, right? But sausage, traditional way where I'm going to cook them off. I'm doing a pepper and onion relish that you can serve cold on any sandwich you can think of. That's one. Roast beef, and I'm going to heat up with some mushrooms and capers, top it with some melted Muenster cheese on ciabatta bread. Absolutely incredible. Caprese sandwich, which usually is mozzarella and tomatoes, but we're going to add some chicken to this with some basil pesto. You're going to love that dish too. So we got 3 sandwiches. We have 20-something minutes to put them all together. And guess what? Your culinary journey starts now. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to start our culinary journey by making that pepper relish I told you about. Usually relishes or even pickling, it's sometimes people think it's a long process. I want to make it quick and easy where you're going to get that little pickle effect and add some heat to the mix so it does it as a quick pickle or a quick relish. All right, so the first thing I need to do is get my peppers and onions together. Generally, when you're talking about a sausage and pepper sandwich, most people think of like perfect street food, and that's what this is. But you also think about adding, hot peppers and onions to the saute. Well, I want to make it so that way I could either eat the sausage warm and then add these little touches, or be able to keep this pepper relish at all times. So what I'm doing is julienning my red pepper. Let me get my pan on over here. And the thing with relishes is that you can make them big and chunky like this. You could make them even a little bit tighter. If you want to do a tight cut after you julienne, you can make a small relish by adding another cut to this, and you take your julienne cut, you cut it down, and now you have a small dice, and you could use those. Maybe we'll do our relish like that today because it'll cook a little bit quicker. So we have some red, we'll add in some green, we'll use the rest of it to make a bigger relish later. We'll add this to it, and then some red onion. So what you traditionally find in sausage and peppers, we're adding right to it, peppers and onion, but we're going to add a little apple cider vinegar as well. Now, I love sandwiches. One of the things about sandwiches is, whether you're having lunch or dinner, most people think they always have to go out and buy a sandwich at a store because they have all the ingredients there. Well, or you're going to just make a quick ham and cheese. Well, I'll show you with the roast beef one that we're going to do, is that you don't have to make it. It's not super complicated to make something that's even a little bit more interesting at home. Again, this sausage and pepper is really easy because this relish, you don't have to do it at last minute. You could do this a couple of days in advance, even longer, and you'll be able to quickly get your sausage grilled, and next thing you know, you're having an amazing sandwich. All right, here's our ingredients for our relish. We'll get those started right away. Okay, peppers, onions. And we got our pan hot. We're going to add a little bit of oil to that. Just a touch. There you go. And we'll bring the pan over and we'll get our ingredients right in the pan. There you go. And we'll cook them down. Now, we don't need to cook these down a lot. A lot of things with relishes, too. You don't have to actually cook them down all the way. You just need to get them broken down just a little bit. I'm going to add some fresh oregano to it because I want that kind of Italian feel. So some beautiful fresh oregano will give me that as a back base. We're going to add a little bit of sweetness to our relish. Now you do a couple of things. You could add a little bit of sweetness or a little bit of spice, right? Now I do have this Moroccan blend that I made up that we use at the restaurant all the time. It has some fennel, it has cumin and coriander. Now you don't usually think cumin and coriander as a base for an Italian meal. But with the fennel and a little bit of the spice that's in here from the hot chili, you're going to get a good backdrop without making it feel totally Moroccan or a whole nother animal. So we got that in there. We have our oregano, we have our peppers and our onions, and we're going to cook that down just a little bit. We're going to add a little sweet backdrop to this, just a touch of sugar to go in there, kind of balance off the spice, and that's anything. Whether you're doing a dish, any dish, or a relish, you really want to have kind of like that balance of sweet, acidic, and spice all balanced together. So when I mentioned acidic, I'm using an apple cider vinegar into this, and that's what's going to really bring out that kind of base of this is a relish. Now you could add pickling spices to this, which are, you know, a blend of different spices, or you could just leave it like this. I like it plain. I don't like to have anything in there that I just can't bite into or don't recognize. So we're going to leave it just like that. We're going to cook it down. That vinegar is going to get into all of the vegetables and make a wonderful dish. Okay, while that's working, let's start getting a couple of things ready. We're going to grill up some of our breads for our first sandwich, which is going to be the roast beef sandwich. Now the roast beef is really simple. Remember I said, like, you go into your refrigerator, you open up the refrigerator, and then you go in there and you go, well, I'm going to have a roast beef sandwich. And you go, well, what could I have? I'll just put some cheese on it or whatever. Well, with a couple of additions to this item, you're going to come up with an incredible sandwich. So what I'm going to do on a seasoned grill, I'm going to get my ciabatta breads just warming up on there. And then what I'm going to do is take my mushrooms. Let's get this pan right back here going. I'm going to cut up my mushrooms. Where am I? There was a knife here somewhere. Didn't I just use it? Oh, there it is. I did just use it. All right, we're going to cut up our mushrooms and our capers. Now the capers, again, remember that balance I talked about? I talk about, you know, a little bit of spice or a little bit of vinegar or a little bit of this, and you kind of balance out flavors so it's not just one-dimensional. Well, that's what the capers are going to do for us. They're going to have this briny, vinegary finish, and they're going to be perfect for what we're doing. So I'm cutting up mushrooms. I'm chopping up some spinach. Get a little bit of oil in this pan. And in about the same amount of time that it would really take me to make a regular sandwich or a burger at home or what have you, I'm going to be making a dish that will have a lot of different flavors in it. So let's get our capers in there, because once they start cooking, they're going to pop, get some nice flavor. We're going to put some, you know, nothing better than onions with roast beef, right? So we're going to put a little bit of shallots in there. We'll let those cook up, and we'll cook up our mushrooms. So we're going to get a little bit more capers. Again, that vinegary bite is going to be absolutely wonderful. Salt and pepper. And we'll just let that all cook together. Now, so this is what we're going to do. We'll take a little quick break, because when we get back, we'll finish this up. I'm going to get my bread. Let me get all my bread going. And actually, in this other pan, I'm going to get my chicken cooking, because we can put these all together. So I got my chicken cooking in this pan. I'm going to cook these down a little bit, and then when we come back, we'll add the roast beef and the Muenster cheese. Actually put that sandwich together. I got my relish working over here, which when it cooks down, it's going to be out of control, great flavor. And I'm going to put some chicken in this pan, sear it up, because that's for our caprese coming up. So you don't go away. When you come back, we'll put together one sandwich, and we'll get all the fixings for the other ones put together. Got it? You got it? I got it. We'll see you in a minute. All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm getting this all kind of cooking away. What we have here, let me go around the horn. We'll start with our bread. We got our bread warming up. I got this nice ciabatta bread that I sliced in half, and I'm just warming it so it gets a nice little toast to it. Here we have mushrooms to the right of that. We have the mushrooms with the capers going. I'm going to add my roast beef to that right now. This is just basically, I mean, I make my own roast beef, but if you're just buying your own, just get it sliced really thin. Just put it in the pan. We're going to use that just to warm that up, add some flavor to it. And that's how we're going to melt our cheese. All this is going to go on our sandwiches. You'll see how that goes on in a second. We don't need the roast beef cooked. We just need it warmed up. It's already cooked. You don't want to overcook it. And we're going to add some spinach to that too, which is going to wilt down on our sandwich. So we got that. That's going to finish off by itself. All that heat is just going to come through. Now, when we put the ingredients together in there, we wanted to cook the mushrooms, the capers, wanted to cook the shallots. But the roast beef, we don't have to. The spinach just wilts because it's almost like lettuce on your sandwich. But now the Muenster cheese and the roast beef are warming up just to the point we need them to. All right, we got that. Here we have chicken. That's for our caprese sandwich. We'll worry about that one later. So let's put together our first sandwich, which is really awesome. And let me just make sure, yeah, they're all cut through. Always add a little bit of mayonnaise to your, or some type of base to this. It's going to actually stop the fat and the oils from coming through the bun and making it really soggy. So it's a nice layer or a covering over your next level. This is actually a garlic mayo, where I take roasted garlic, just fresh roasted garlic, puree that, add some mayonnaise, or you make your own aioli. Either way, it's easy. I'll show you a show on that another time. All right, so let's get our roast beef over here. I'm going to slide that on and make sure we have some mushrooms and spinach and capers. I love this sandwich. Just, it says everything about all these different flavors you could do. And then the capers are just going to have a little bit of acidity to them, brininess and saltiness at the same time. You see how that Muenster just hugs the beef? And then you got mushrooms on there. It's a little bit different. Maybe you might have thought about doing it, or if you were going to do a hamburger, think about that as a burger with some great flavors. Actually, those beef tenderloins we've done on another show go great with this too. If you want to just put a beef tenderloin on here. There you go. You got a nice roast beef sandwich. That's our first one. Okay, that was easy. We'll show you that at the end because I'm going to cut it in half for you. And let's talk about our next item. Now, we have a grill going on, and I like to bring things back to life like tomatoes. Not every day can you buy tomatoes that are fresh, local, that just came out of the garden. So you have to go to the supermarket and buy tomatoes. Now, they're always good. They're good, but they can be better. Now, what I recommend is this. Once tomatoes have hit the refrigerator, you want to kind of bring them back to life. Add a little bit of salt to them. Get them on a grill or even in a saute pan. And what we're going to do with that, we're actually going to bring these tomatoes back to life and give them some of their natural sweetness. So let's do that. One more. We need one more for the other part of the sandwich. All right? Those are going to cook. We got that going. All right, let's take a look at the last item we had going on, which is our relish. So it's cooked down. You have the oregano in there. You have the apple cider in there, apple cider vinegar, and all that. And the peppers and onions have cooked down. It's going to be a great little sprinkle, and you have that acidity. It's just a perfect smell. I mean, it will remind you of a relish once you did it. And it really, you didn't have to go buy one. You didn't have to spend hours on it. You didn't have to can something that took days. It's just an easy addition to what you're doing. It'll go great on top of maybe chicken. If you just had a plain chicken breast, you add the relish to it, or even on a fish or a burger. You name it, it's good for that. All right, so our chicken looks just about ready. Let's put these together, right? So, and then when we come back, the piece de resistance, we're going to really have fun with our sausage and peppers. Actually, we're going to do something once these come off of here. I'm going to show you what I want to do with the sausage and peppers. I have sausage that I actually blanched off. And then blanching it off, I get fresh sausage. And then you take it, you put it in boiling water for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you've cooked it most of the way through. So then what I do with that is I've gotten rid of a lot of the fat that comes onto the sausage. By getting rid of the fat and pre-cooking it, I'm going to intensify the other flavors, and it's still fatty enough where they're going to stay moist and juicy. But now I'm going to sear them or grill them in this pan, and then I'm going to bring out even more flavor. That's enough for two. This one will be enough for two. So we'll start this grilling. So we have our tomatoes getting ready for our caprese, which we're going to add a little balsamic glaze to our caprese sandwich. And this is just a reduction of balsamic vinegar with a touch of honey in it. You can't even purchase balsamic glazes these days. Companies like Roland Foods have them, and they're delicious. I have a little bit of basil pesto. Now this is probably traditional that you would see like a mozzarella tomato sandwich, right? The only other thing we're going to add to it is the chicken that we want to add to that. So you got we got our tomatoes that when we flip over, it started breaking down just a little bit. You don't have to do both sides because then they'll become almost into a sauce. Right? We have our chicken that's cooked all the way through. Beautiful. We'll put that on there on either side. Boy, this doesn't get easier than this. And then we need a little mozzarella. You can't do it without the fresh mozzarella. So if you have some fresh mozzarella, you put that on top. And this is sandwich number 2, which will be unveiled when we come back as well. So I have my 2 sandwiches. We have the Caprese sandwich with chicken. We have the roast beef sandwich. Both of those are ready. So if you had your guests coming over and you wanted to make a couple of everything, you had these going on. When we come back, we'll take that sausage, pepper relish, ricotta salata cheese, bib lettuce, and a naan bread. I'll tell you all about that. You do not want to go away because the headliner of the show is that sausage sandwich. We'll see you when we come back. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're almost there. We're finishing our 3rd sandwich. So I'll open those 2 up in a second so you can see them. But this is the naan bread. You can actually buy these at the deli counter in your stores if you find them. But it resembles an Indian naan bread. But for me, it actually works even better than a pita does with pita sandwiches. I absolutely love this. So I'm using this for our sausage and pepper wrap, quote unquote wrap. It's going to be a kind of, you're going to have to almost like open face and we have to roll it up to close it. But we'll do that in a second. Let's check this out. So we have our caprese. We'll put one here. We'll take the other one, see how it came out. Should be okay. Oh, that's nice. I'll eat that. And then so you have fresh chicken that's just been pan-seared very quickly. Put it on a sandwich with some pesto and just great, great flavors. And tomatoes and all that. And then the roast beef, which is my choice of the day. This is one of my favorite sandwiches. When you have a party over, put those out. They will be the first to go. Trust me on that one. All right, let's do our last one. A couple of things we need to do for it. So we warm up our bread. I always like to warm up bread, no matter what it is, when it's a roll bread or a ciabatta or a baguette or anything like that. It's always great to roll up, warm up a little bit, because one, it's going to be easier to work with and it brings out some more flavor, just like the tomato. You know, you don't want to have cold bread. Now we're going to put a little garlic aioli on the bottom of this, or garlic mayonnaise. Which you probably won't think about with sausage and peppers, and that's one of the differences. Then we're going to take our grilled sausages, which we're warming up because we cooked them. We blanched them off first, and then we're finishing them by grilling them. So that's our hot sausage. We're going to put our pepper relish now, right? Instead of peppers and onions, like that. And you got that vinegar bite to them, a little bit of heat behind it. Put a little bit of lettuce on there, something delicate. This is a Boston bib or a butter bib lettuce. You could do that on the bottom, or this helps me kind of keep this together. And then finally, a little bit of cheese. It's a ricotta salata. It's a salty version, a salty dry version of what people think of as ricotta. It's very light. It's got a bite of salt to it, which I want to add to this whole dish. And I put that together. Now, most of the ways I say that end this show, I say goodbye and just let you leave and we try this later. There is no way I don't eat this at the end of a show. Because it's by far one of the best sandwiches. When I put it on the menu at the restaurant, it was one of the coolest things we've done. And it's absolutely incredible. It's going to be rich and creamy and delicious. Great soft bread. And look, a little bit of the oil coming out. It's going to be nice and messy, and that's the way a good sandwich should be. So with this, with my caprese sandwich with chicken, my roast beef that has just a twist, adding the capers, the mushrooms, and the cheese, really a little bit on the stove, heating it up, takes just what you normally would do for a roast beef sandwich and knock it right out of the park. And sausage and peppers, Luca style. It doesn't get better than this. Well, I'm going to eat this, and I'll see you on our next culinary journey. Brought to you in part by Monadnock Flooring and Decorating, offering quality sales, service, and installation for over 35 years on Production Avenue next to Subaru of Keene.